Hey, how are you? I jumped into the webinar early because I wanted to make sure it worked for one. I think last time, was that last time or the time before, the website was crashing. And it was a nightmare. It took like 45 minutes to get it back up, but of course everyone had left by then because I would too. I wouldn't hang around for 45 minutes, wouldn't hang around for 2 minutes. Anyway, hi, I haven't introduced myself, that's a bit rude, but most people probably know me. I'm Rebecca from Angel Foods, and we're doing a live webinar or live video training or live workshop, live video streaming, whatever you want to call it. Essentially, you're going to get the goodies on 10 steps to starting a cake business. That's what today's training is all about. I love training. Training is my jam. So that's why I do it. But let's start to check that everyone can see and hear me. So below this video is a chat box. If you could type away in there that you can see me, that you can hear me, that I'm a big old weirdo, I'm cool with that because I am. Let me go. Oh, sorry, and an auto, excuse me, it always auto starts when I click to this website too. So I apologize that you'll get that audio. But yes, there's a chat box below if you could let me know that you can see and hear me. Type here. And then if you could let me know where are you listening in from in the big wide world. Beautiful. All right. So once I get some people in there and telling me they can hear me, I'll get into the training. And not only that, I am a little bit early. I am a good 5 minutes early. Like I said, I didn't want... Well, for one, I don't like to be late. That's just rude. I usually aim to be here like 2 or 3 minutes earlier. But yeah, last time the webinar crashing, wasn't the webinar, sorry, it was my website. It was like the hosting was going up and down like crazy. Anyway, it was an issue with the hosting company. But it was, I didn't like wasting people's time, essentially. That yeah, they couldn't access the training. I think I ended up rebooking the training, maybe twice. I ended up rebooking the training because the hosting went down. So that's why I jumped on a couple minutes early. But yeah, I look forward to seeing you here. It looks like one person is here, has come on board, but that could be counting me. I don't know. Shouldn't be. But yeah, please type in the chat box below. It is also detachable, so if you're watching from a device, being an iPhone, iPad, notebook, etc., you can detach it, put it beside the video so that you can be watching and seeing in the training, because I will have slides for you as well, but you can also put the chat box beside the training so that you can, you know, tap away in there and ask questions as we're going through the training, because I do like to do live Q&A, live question and answer time, so you get loads of value from this training. So like I said, we're talking about starting a cake business, the 10 steps to starting out, and that covers, you know, from legal perspective to nitty-gritty details and everything in between, getting customers, how to set up a website, etc. Okay, we're going to cover everything from beginning to end. And these are the 10 steps I use myself. These are the 10 steps that I train my franchisees to use in starting their cake business, and quickly, like setting it up quickly, getting cake orders quickly. That's my jam. I do things quickly, if anyone doesn't know my style. So I taught franchisees. This is what I teach during my e-courses. So I've got, you know, email e-courses where I help you step by step to either set up a cake business or grow a cake business. And not only that, in my ebooks, these are the creme de la creme of information, essentially, that I share with people on starting a cake business. Because I've got a Capricornian training brain where I'm just really good at, that sounds really up myself, but I am. I'm really good at giving information and training in a very concise, makes sense. I don't start at step number 5, tell you number 10, and maybe give you number 2 and 3. I'm a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 type gal. That's how I work. My brain doesn't work any other way, which is kind of good for you. Makes me a perfect teacher, let alone cake is my jam. I've been in the food industry for over 15 years. I started in a bakery when I was 13. And I stayed in that bakery for 10 years. That's where I did my qualification, being a qualified baker and pastry cook. I did an apprenticeship. I managed that same bakery. I've also managed a couple of cheesecake shops, and let alone starting up my own home cake business, Angel Foods, which I started in 2010. So yeah, I started in 2010, and from selling cakes, franchising, video tutorials, selling ebooks and e-courses, YouTube channel, Amazon books. Look, I'm big noting myself, but essentially from beginning to end, I love cake and business and training, so I glue them all together, and this is what I do. All right, some people are joining the webinar. Beautiful. I can see you coming in. I've started a bit earlier, guys. Just wanted to make sure that the website didn't crash this time, essentially. So I've been talking to myself, but that's fine. I'm good at talking. But if you want to type in the chat box below and tell me where you're listening in from and that you can hear me, that would be awesome. And if you can hear me, cut that out too. All right, guys, when I hear from some people that they're signing in and that they can type in the chat box, and when it's at 9:30, when it's at the right time, we'll get started, because I don't like to waste anyone's time. I'm glad I was here early, and I always am early, to be honest. I've got to remember to switch the screens around when I do screen share. Remind me, please. My very first webinar, that was a mistake. I didn't know it was a mistake, of course. I just thought people were looking at what I was looking at. Had to click buttons, right? So I was about not that far into it, maybe 10 or 15 minutes, and then I went to check the chat box and be like, I can't see what you're looking at. Oh, crap. All right, let's just do a quick recap what I talked about. But it's fine. It's like live and learn. Anything new, there's always going to be a learning curve, and it's never going to be perfect. That's the guarantee in life. Same as starting a cake business. And from that experience, I learned for the next webinar, remember to change the screen, Rebecca, like mental note. And that's a really great way for me to remember. By making a mistake, I'm going to remember better. Love life lessons. Sorry, getting very, I don't know, grandma on yous. All right. Oh, we have people in the chat box. Yay! Hey, Crystal, you rock. All right, and we're at 9:30. All right, I'm going to wait one or two more minutes for people to arrive, and we'll get started. Crystal knows I've been freaking out a little bit about this webinar. I don't know why. It's not this webinar. It's stepping outside my comfort zone. Like I've got to use my initiative a little bit and be on the fly. I'm going to explain it to you, Crystals. Do my best anyway. And last year, I specifically set myself a little mini goal of doing one weekly webinar every week for 3 months, so that I would get more confident on it. Didn't matter what I was doing, this time every week I was pressing start broadcast and I was doing it. And I either had slides prepared or I didn't, but I showed up, answered questions. I did some impromptu training or mini trainings, or even just answer questions. Like people like, hey, Beck, meaning to ask you this, like, and that's a really beautiful thing. And I did get more confident. I still got a little bit nervous, I suppose, leading up to each webinar. I don't know why, just something about it. Probably because I'm overthinking it, I'm guessing. And then I got out of the habit, essentially. But during the training, always feel amazing. And after the training, always feel amazing. Like I'm on a high, like honestly, a natural high. That's what it feels like to me. So I do love training, so don't get me wrong. I do love them. I've just got to find a way that I get more confident. I think it'll be going back to weekly trainings. Crystal, I was saying I'm going to be doing every 2 weeks on a Wednesday morning. I've just got to lock in that time, and then every other second week, I'm going to be doing Monday nights at like 8 p.m. Lock it in, Eddie. How scary. Okay, Holly, you can hear me in Brisbane. Nice to see you here, Holly. I think this is the first webinar you've joined us on. You're a new member in Cake Business School. All right, beautiful. We've got people here. It's the right time. Website's not crashing. High five to that. All right, we're going to get started. So I'm going to flick the screen around. Thanks, Crystal. All right, I'm going to flick the screen around so you can see the slides during this training. Feel free to chat away in the chat box. Crystal's my angel cupcake helper, so she'll help answer questions if I don't see it, if I'm just training away, but I do flip to the screen and the chat box to check on questions and answer questions while I'm going as well. So if you've got questions, type them away and I come to them. And not only that, right at the end, I love having a live Q&A session. It can be any question about anything, maybe not, you know, let's just say, you know, cake and business, anything to do with that and marketing, not necessarily personal life stuff. Don't think I should give advice on that. I think that's it. All right, let me change the screen around. And if you could let me know that you can see it too, you should be able to see my slides. Pretty sure I did it right though. All right, can you guys see my screen all right? And then we'll get started. Beautiful, thank you. All right, just getting rid of this pop-up in front of me. Today's training is all about 10 steps to starting a cake business. How to set up, how to get customers, how to make money, and earn a living with your cake business dream. Because you've always had this little thing inside you going, okay, what's out there for me? All right, so exciting. I did say that a couple of times. Finally, a cake business is something you can do for yourself, that you find that sense of accomplishment or achievement on a personal level, that it's yours and yours only. Not only that, you've probably been told by your friends and family you should be selling your sweet creations. All right, so you have this dream of starting cake business. It's just, what are the nitty-gritty details to setting it up? And you don't want to hear crickets, meaning no sales, no people, no inquiries, no orders, and you don't want to make a loss. You don't want to be paying to sell cakes, all right? You're in it to make a profit, okay? A bit of money on the side, or a bit more than that. Absolutely, you can build a cake business up for that. All righty, a cake business is brilliant, and here's why. One, you are your own boss. That was the absolute #1 reason why I started Angel Foods in 2010. I had just come home from living in England, and I'd been working in the disability and aged care sector for a couple of years, to be honest, and in England for 1 year. And I just got so sick of working for bosses who told you, you know, how much you should earn and how much work you should do and how to do your job. And they'd never in their life done 1 day of that work. They'd never been a disability or elderly support worker. But they're quite happy to tell you, you know, it's easy. And it's not. I tell you that right now, it's not. All right, so when I come home, I'm like, I desperately do not want to work for somebody else. I want to work for myself. I want to be my own boss. That's why I started Angel Foods and my cake business. #2 reason, you can make your own hours. So whether you choose to work, you know, 4 to 5 hours per day or 30 hours per week, or whatever suits your life. #3, you can work around your family, and you really can. Yes, it's a little bit of a juggle. So for example, you know, you've got school drop-offs and pickups, and you want to be able to cake around that. You absolutely can. You just got to not put a cake in the oven when you're about to do a pickup, essentially. And that's a little bit of time management skills. You can work around your family. And a cake business is brilliant for making a bit of cash, from, you know, $100 a week to $1,000 a week. quite easily. Okay. Now, cake business isn't as hard as you think. All right. Some people say, oh, no, it's impossible. You can't get legal. You can't get registered. You can't get a license. It's too hard. Don't bother. And that might be friends or family. And that might also be other cake decorators telling you that. Now, bear in mind, you can't get registered and you can't sell cakes because other people are doing it, right? It is a thing. It is an industry. It is a career. But at the same time, I do want to point out having cake business is not easy. If you're looking for an easy way out of not having to get a job and you want to watch daytime TV, I'm going to tell you, you do have to stand in the kitchen and bake those cakes. You are standing on your feet for hours at a time. You do need to wash those dishes, and there is no getting out of that work. Okay, so while the cake business isn't easy, it's not hard either. Okay, so bear that in mind. And a cake business is fun. Oh my God, so fun. Playing with buttercream all day. Tell me that's not fun. But anyway, that is my one guarantee with cake business. It is fun, okay? All right, let's jump straight into today's training. 10 steps to starting a cake business. Underneath this, let's say webinar, the screen, you'll see there's a PDF that you can download and print off and write on and keep and save and use, okay? That's for free, so it's a free PDF guide on 10 steps to starting cake business. So feel free to click on that. It'll open a new screen. It won't open on top of this screen. Oh, depending if you're on a PC and whatnot. Don't know how it works on iPhones, but somebody tell me after the fact. So yeah, feel free to go grab that guide and keep that one. And you can be reading through it as we're going through this if you want to as well, if that helps your memory and concentration and your learning style. All right, step number 1. Get legal. Excuse me, I just have a drink. All right, step 1 to having a cake business is you need to get legal, because the other option is having a legal cake business, and I'm not going to teach you that, nor am I going to recommend it, nor should you. To have an illegal cake business means that you have no food license and you're not registered. In particular, I've heard stories of people with no food license selling cakes get up to a $10,000 fine. All right. And I'm not saying that to scare you. I'm saying that because you want to be a legal cake business. You don't want to be one of those illegal backyard shady deals. All right. So to sell cakes, being you get an exchange of money for goods, even exchange of goods for goods, that is still selling. So being, you know, somebody gives you ingredients to make a cake, that's still a form of selling. To sell cakes requires a food license. And not only that, you need to be set up for tax, being money in, money out, tax deductions, tax refunds, tax returns, okay? A lot of people think right at the beginning that, oh, if I'm just selling a little bit of cake and not making much money, it's just a hobby. And to be honest, I thought exactly the same thing myself when I started cake business school. When I started Angel Foods, until I started making some inquiries and did some research. But essentially, selling cakes is not a hobby. What would be a hobby is baking and decorating cakes. There's no harm in that whatsoever. If you just enjoy baking and decorating cakes and go to have a food blog, for example, sure, go for gold. You don't need a food license. But as soon as you're going to take orders and sell cakes, whether it's at the markets, whether it's wholesale, cafes and restaurants, whether it's custom cake orders or wedding cakes or birthday cakes, etc., that is not a hobby. It doesn't matter how much money you do or don't earn, whether you earn a profit or a loss, it's got nothing to do with whether it's hobby or not. You're selling cakes. Some people do confuse whether you're a hobby or not, whether they say, but I earn less than the tax-free threshold, therefore less than a certain amount of money, therefore it's just a hobby. While an accountant might classify it as a hobby, that's got to do with your money and tax side of things. It's got nothing to do with your food license and being legal side of things. They're two different subjects, okay? So really important that I point that out. And it is possible to get legal. I want to say that as well, really important. Obviously, there are people selling cakes. Obviously, this is an industry, this is a career, this is a business, and there is a way to get a food license. And there are a lot of stories out there about how to get a food license. Some are horror stories, some are really, really easy, and there's everything in between. Food license, it depends on where you live, what council or county or region or town you're in. It depends what state you're in. It depends what country you're in. The rule across the board for a food license is contact your local food authority. That is the only advice I can give you, because I can't tell you will or won't get a license and what the fine print will be and how much it will cost, because every single council, county, region, town, state, and country have their own rules, okay? But to get legal, you need to have a food license. In the PDF attachment, you'll see that I've got, it links through to some articles and information about food licensing, so you can access more information there. Secondly, to get legal, you need to have a registered business name. And that's quite a small amount of money, about $30 per year, something like that. You need to register a business name. And again, that fee, that cost is tax deductible. In Australia, you need to have an ABN, Australian Business Number. It costs nothing to get, and you can get it online. In other countries, I don't know what your government's tax prerequisites are, but it just takes a quick Google how to start a legal business in your country, okay? And lastly, insurance. Depending what you do, where you're selling it, etc., you will require an insurance of some sort, and the bare minimum would be about a public liability insurance. Again, in the attachment, I've got a link through to an article all about insurance. Okay, so step one, starting cake business, is get legal. Step two. Step two is practice. Practice makes perfect. Like anything in life, if you're not a seasoned professional, qualified, or cake decorator, if you're just starting out, a hobbyist, you've got home baking skills, whatever it is, the only way to improve is practice. That is the only way. There is no other, magic course or qualification other than spending time on learning a new skill. So much like a child or anyone learning an instrument, the only way they're going to get better at that instrument is by practicing. That is a guarantee. All right, so you're starting to practice, and what you're aiming for is a consistent bake and a consistent finished product. And what I mean by that, a consistent bake, that a recipe works for you exactly the same time and time again, that you can get the same rice, same consistency, same taste, same flavor, and the consistent finished product is your like piping or decorating skills, that they get more and more mirrored of each other, that they look nearly exactly the same or exactly the same every single time that you do that particular pipe on that particular cupcake, so they all look uniform. All right, that's what you're practicing, and it's actually a lot easier and quicker than you think. When I used to teach franchisees, most of them, I think all of them actually, had never picked up a palette knife or a piping bag. So I taught them cupcake piping, and then palette knifing, and then seashell edging on slab cakes in particular as a basic starting point. It took, for the cupcakes, 3 to 4 cupcakes to nail it. I mean, nail it. They had a consistent finished product every single time. It just took a couple of tips and tricks for me to show them exactly what they needed to do to hold a piping bag. All they'd done is like drizzle icing on a cake before, drizzle wet icing. Okay, and that's exactly what I teach. So for example, I've got a video tutorial training on how to decorate a cupcake that is consistent over and over again. All right, and that cupcake tutorial is actually free on our website, and I sell it with some of my packages, full video tutorial. Same as palette knifing, it's exactly the same. Just how you hold it, and what recipe buttercream you use, and then practicing over and over again, you're going to get consistent results and get, you know, nice even layer and nice even finishing to a cake. So step number 2 is practice. Step number 3 is website. You need a website for 2 reasons. 1, to be Googleable. When people are Googling for cakes for sale in your area or Googling for your business name, you need to be found on the Google. Number 2, to put on your business card. You need a website to put that website address on your business card, because it is like your online portfolio or gallery. All right, it's showcasing your work. It is one of the very first questions that people will ask you, do you have a website? Because they want to go check out your shares. Okay. Now there are free website options like Weebly or Wix. I started with Weebly myself back in 2010/11 and used that for a year before I upgraded to a WordPress website. WordPress, you can either DIY it, do it yourself, and it would cost about $100 to do that because you have to pay for hosting and domain name. Or the other alternative is to pay a web developer to build your website, and web developers start about $200 and they can go up to $5 grand, probably more in all honesty. But that's the range that you're looking at. So again, in the attached PDF, I've got some links through to how to build a website, especially a Weebly one, if you want to DIY it. All right, step number 4, order business cards. So now that you're legal, now that you have a website, I recommend going over to Vistaprint, as they're super cheap with business cards. I believe they start at about $10. I'm talking in Australian dollars, but you know, check out your country's Vistaprint. It's about $10 plus postage. So really, really cheap business cards. You can just get one box of 250, start with that, wait till you finish and then order some more. Then with a business card, you can step 5, get customers. All right. So now with all the above, it's time to make the moolah and get customers. So you need to announce to the world you are taking orders. You don't want to keep it a secret. The number of people I've spoken to and clients and coaching clients, etc., they say, I don't have any orders. Why do I not have any orders? Like, okay, how are you marketing yourself? How are you trying to get sales? Well, what I do is I sit at home and then I go on Facebook. Right. I'm taking the mickey a little bit, but essentially to get customers, you need to tell people you sell cake. If you don't tell anyone you sell cake, it's going to be a big old secret and you're not going to sell cake. All right, so I've got some ideas for you on how you can also market and tell other people about what you do. So first, word of mouth, tell your friends and family. They will be your biggest supporters. They're probably the ones who suggest or recommended you start the business in the first place. They will recommend you out this wazoo, and you will get orders from that. All right, so make sure you tell your friends and family. Don't keep it a secret. 2, not only that, you could try markets. You could get customers through the markets and get orders that way as well. You can sell wholesale to cafes and restaurants. You can give out vouchers. So vouchers would be like you're really wanting to get orders in ASAP. So you'd offer a U-Butte bonus deal for a limited time with an expiry date. So it could be order a cake over $50 and get a box of 6 cupcakes for free, and expires end of next month. So you're going to get orders in that way. And I would be, especially if you're starting out, handing out those babies all over the place. I'll be doing a letterbox drop with them. I would have them in my purse. I'd give it out to the checkout chick. I'd give it out to my kids' schoolmates and their parents, the local soccer meet. Like, I'd be giving out vouchers all over the place. People love vouchers. In the attached PDF, I actually have an article about vouchers and how to word them and what to do. And I've also got a PDF, template that you can use. I've got a voucher essentially for you to download, print, and start handing out vouchers straight away. You don't even have to design it. Okay, I've made it uber easy for you to get customers. Other ways to get customers is Facebook business page and Facebook local groups. So starting a business page and sharing in local groups. You can also advertise on free websites, for example, like True Local and Gumtree. True Local is an Australian one, but Gumtree is international. I said letterbox drop, that would be brilliant, not just with the business card, not just with the pamphlet. I would be going for a voucher. I would suggest that would get a better return on investment, more likely to get inquiries and orders. You can also advertise in school or daycare newsletters. All right, in the attached PDF, I've got a load of 20 ways to promote your business for free or virtually free. So make sure to check that one out. Step number 6, pricing. How to price your cakes. Or how much should I charge for this cake? The number of times I've been asked that question is probably, it'd be getting close to 1,000, I would think now. And don't get me wrong, I love that question. I love it. I love pricing. But for the most part, it confuses or overwhelms people, or there's just uncertainty. They just don't know what to price. So the aim of the game, being this cake business game, is to make money and a good profit. All right, you're not doing it for free. You're not giving it away and paying for, paying to give it away. You want to make a good profit. You want to make an income. You want to either replace your current income, quit your full-time job, or, earn extra money on the side. So how to price your cakes, there's a couple of options. You could use pricing guides. You can use pricing apps. You can go into pricing Facebook groups. And Cake Business School Facebook group. I am fine with asking a pricing question. Just bear in mind there's some cake, or a lot of cake business groups or just caking groups, they don't like the pricing question because it is hard to answer for another person. But I like to give a starting point just to give you an idea of where to go from there and where you can raise your prices from. So again, the pricing guides I've attached in that PDF, which is below this webinar training. So you got access to them straight away. Lovely. Step number 7, attend events. Now I've separated this one out. Yes, I mentioned markets before with getting customers, but attending events when you're starting out and trying to get your name out there, events are the best way. Number 1, hands down, best way. So that an event can be a market, it can be an expo, it can be a festival, it can be a show, it can be a farmer's market. List goes on, right? Anything that you can get out and have kind of a pop-up shop front where you can give free samples of your cake, where you can sell some of your cake, and where you can take cake orders. Attend events, because not only that, it is exposure for your business, awareness of your business. People get to know, like, and trust you. You become the local cake lady. Events is the keystone to that, or the beginning point of that. So I highly recommend attending events. Again, in the attached PDF, I have how to set up a market stall and then how to also maximize profits from market stall. Okay, so you can check out that training later. Step number 8, give out samples. So whether you're at the markets, I highly recommend giving out free little toothpick samples. It just draws people over. You can say, hey, would you like a free sample? You're not asking for the sale. You're just drawing them over and attracting to the table so they're looking at your stuff. And then not only that, you can give out samples to local businesses or potential customers. All right, Holly's just got a question, so I'm just refreshing just to go back to that because it was about what I was just talking about. So selling wholesale to local cafes is something I'm interested in. In order to boost my orders and have a guaranteed order regularly, any ideas how I approach other businesses without sounding inexperienced? Yeah, absolutely, Holly. So wholesale cafes, restaurants, one, you want to show up not in a busy time. I recommend walking in rather than ringing around or doing, emails or posting something to them. I recommend walking in. I recommend taking a couple of pieces of paper. They will always ask for a product list and a price list, and then obviously how to contact you as well, so a business card. And I've got a suggested script for you of when you approach them as well. And again, that's in the attached PDF of how to get wholesale orders. There's a script in something like this. Hi, my name's Rebecca from Angel Foods. I'm a new cake decorator in town. I then said I specialize in gluten-free and special diets. Would you be interested in ordering from me? I don't even think I said that. Oh, no, I just said I now take cake orders in town. Would you be interested in a free box of samples? So I haven't said, you know, order from me and give me money. I've just opened up the conversation, told them who I am, and then they respond. Then they'll be like, yeah, interested. No, thank you. Usually I say, what's your price list? So obviously I hand that to them and they look at the prices. And then, yes, if they're interested in samples, I'll follow up with that in you know, whatever time frame I say that I will. Usually I'll walk into a couple of shops the same day, find a couple that want samples, and then I you know, bake off those samples and take them in again, you know, do them all at once at the same day. And that is how I got the orders. It's literally walking in. It wasn't unprofessional at all. Obviously, I was neatly dressed. I had my business card. I had, you know, what you know, my pieces of paper with me. I suggest using the script that I've got. Some really good points is to make sure you follow up. If they didn't say no, meaning they could be interested, it might be a yes. You don't know until they say no. Make sure you follow up, being phone calls or walking in, because the power is in the follow-up. Because they're busy too, they're a food business owner, they're busy, they're time strapped. They mean to say yes, but they just don't get back to you. All right, so make sure you follow up with the wholesale cafes and restaurants. What else? Oh, they are brilliant for a consistent regular order. It's once they're a customer, it's just like pick up the phone call, what would you like to order this week, or email, however you decide to do it. So while the profit margins are a little bit lower, I usually give a discount of about 25 to 30%, depending on the product and how I can batch them up. I earn a little bit less, but it's a consistent guaranteed order and money in the bank every single week or fortnight, however often they order. So that's why I love wholesale. And while you're building up your business, it's a great way of getting your product out there in more people's mouths. Because not only that, when you're at the market, you're like, hey, you can find me in this restaurant and cafe during the week if you're looking for a cupcake. You can add it to your email newsletter. Find me at this shop, this shop, this shop. You can add it to your website, stocking these shops. Like it's more validation that you're growing your cake business in a way. And not only that, share it on Facebook as well. Hey, just did a delivery to this cafe. Pop down to get this new recipe, new flavor, things like that. All right, so let me know if you've got more questions about wholesale, Holly. All right, go back to slideshow. Step number 8, give out samples. That's what we're talking about. All righty, so give out samples to local businesses or potential customers. So think about the shops that are up your street. So I'm thinking about my little old Proserpine. It's a small little country town, but I got orders from doing this. So for example, you know, little clothing shop, little knick-knack shop, news agency, the banks, the chemist, things like that. Any shop, you can walk in with a box of you know, mini cupcakes and give them some vouchers, because they're all people. They have birthdays. This is just people behind the counter, okay? Let alone, let's say a hairdresser. You really want the hairdresser to love your stuff and, you know, tell all of her clients to order cakes from you. But how about you just give it to the hairdresser and say, hey, I've got these free samples for you. And, you know, once she eats the cake and you go in, let's say once a month with some more, you know, different flavors or whatever, do you think she's going to be naturally raving about your stuff without being salesy and sleazy and all that jazz? So to give out samples, what I suggest is bake off mini cupcakes, because they're a cute little edible size. They're like 1 or 2 mouthfuls or bites. Whereas the bigger cupcakes, people feel guilty. They're usually on a diet. They don't necessarily want to eat. But a mini cupcake, just about anyone will eat. Not only that, they cost you very, very small amount of money to make. So it's not going to cost you much. A mini cupcake used to cost me between 10 and 11 cents, including the paper. So that was the batter, buttercream, and the paper. So the packaging was just on top of that. But I could put the mini cupcakes in a box of like 10 or 24, depending on the size of the business I was walking into. I walk in with a business card and I'd walk in with one of those vouchers. You know how I love those vouchers with a limited time deal. That is going to get you customers. All right, step number 9, set up a Facebook business page. So this is important for people to be able to find you. So having a Facebook business page, if they're Googling your business name, that's actually going to show up on the Google search, like, you know, Google ranking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's going to show up before your actual website page, because Facebook has a massive, massive following, obviously. That website has a whole lot of integrity and credibility, far more than your little website. All right, so having a Facebook business page, setting up in your business name, for no other reason, it's for Google. That's the main reason. So not only that, you can build up your business page as well, but Facebook has changed a lot in the last couple of years, and what you post on there isn't shown to anywhere near as many people. It's only shown to like 5% of all your likers. So don't get overly stressed that you don't get orders from Facebook. It's more for 2 reasons. 1, to be found on Google, and 2, that you use it as like a different portfolio or gallery, and you publish a photo on there every so often. I'd suggest maybe once a week, you know, just post a new photo on there of what you've created that week. Alrighty, so step 9, set up a Facebook business page. Step number 10, and I'm going to say, it's as important, if not more important than all the above. Rinse, lather, repeat. And what I mean by that is do what I've just suggested over and over again. You don't just do it once, sit back, relax, and scroll up Facebook newsfeed. That is not going to get you customers, not going to grow your business, and it's not going to make you more money. What is doing the above over and over again, finding out what works for you and what doesn't, what is your flavor combination, and then, you know, kicking off stuff that doesn't work for you. So you want to keep practicing. You want to keep updating the website. You want to get more customers by doing those marketing tips. You want to increase your pricing over time as you get more busier and you get more booked out. You want to attend events. You want to give out samples. And you want to update your Facebook business page over and over and over again. Alrighty. So we'll go see if anyone's got any questions. Alrighty. Beautiful. Thanks, Crystal, for popping those links in there. So those links are all attached in the PDF, which is right below the video as well. Alrighty. So we're going to do live Q&A. We've got a couple of people here, so if you've got any questions, please let me know. And I did want to let you know about a bonus that I've got for a limited time as well. And I was thinking about, okay, how can I get people to start a cake business? And I've written down on a piece of paper, ooh, is it in front of me? It is. A couple of months ago, essentially every brain dump that I have, well, essentially I'm always brain dumping, put it that way. I'm dumping whatever's out of my brain and put it on paper, like things I'm thinking about doing or want to try or plan or implement or launch or sell or whatever. And one of my ideas was give my 30-day e-course away for free. And then I've got like 4 question marks. And I'm like, that would be amazing. I feel lighter just at the thought of it. And then I can concentrate more on cake decorators and growing a cake business. That's literally what I got written on this piece of paper. I'm like, give away e-course for free, question mark. That would be amazing. I feel lighter at the thought of it. So when I was preparing the slides and preparing for this webinar, I'm like, what bonus can I give to people that would help them start a cake business. Yes, I could give really good information during this webinar. I decided to do that PDF attachment because that's got, you know, guides and swipe files and articles and how-tos and, you know, extra stuff in there. So anything we talked about, you're going to go find the information on. It's all click through right there. I'm like, I don't know if you know this, but Cake Business School is my signature program. Like, it's got all of my best information, and it's so uber cheap. I made it ridiculously cheap because I know anyone starting or growing a cake business, their profit margins are thin and they have very little to spend on themselves, especially learning more things as well. But I thought for a limited number of people, 25 people, I can give free enrollment into the 30-day e-course. So how to start a home cake business in 30 days, which that normally sells for $97. I will pop the link below. I forgot where I was going with that. Bear with me for a second. All right, if you click, just updating. All right, if you click refresh, there'll be a pink button if you're wanting to buy a Cake Business School, if you're not already in there. Let me get on with this thought process. So why the 30-day e-course is perfect for you if you're thinking of starting to sell cakes on the side, want help starting a cake business but don't know the steps and need help with the nitty-gritty how-to details. That's what's in the 30-day e-course. So in Cake Business School, which is only $9 per month, Australian dollars, so it is an international school. It's whatever the conversion rate currently is, it will cost you. I do it in Australian dollars because I'm in Australia. Cake Business School has exclusive training modules on starting and growing a cake business. So there's a module on how to get legal, being food licensing, insurance, registering. There's a module on how to build a website. So whether you want to DIY it or know what you need to know to get a web company to do it, I've got web company recommendations in there. There's a module with full access to the video tutorial library. There's a module on where to order packaging and business cards. There's a module on the secret how to get fully booked out. There's a module on how to price your cakes for maximum profit, and a module on setting up a cake business page and Facebook advertising 101. There's actually about a dozen more modules in the vault ready to go as well. All right, so what do you get in Cake Business School? They're training modules with instant access and monthly new training. So there's more training added every single month. There's member shares on social media. We have a secure membership site. There's business directory listings which helps your business SEO, which is search engine optimization, which is getting your website page up to Google #1. There's how-to video training in there. There's nitty-gritty business documents done for you, being templates, guides, and checklists. There's more bonuses, including a copy of a mini ebook I have called Cake Bakers Money Makers, and free copies of my Amazon best-selling books. There's free access to the Cake Business Mastermind group, and there's a 100% money-back guarantee. So like I said, bonus for 25 people. My belly's rumbling. I hope you can't hear that. I couldn't eat before I started. I was getting too excited / nervous. So like I said, bonus for 25 people. And why it's for 25 people is because the e-course I give email support and red carpet treatment. I need to be there to answer emails and help people. And there's only a limited number I can take through the e-course at a time. I just can't open it to 100 people. So the e-course is 30 emails over 30 days with step-by-step instructions on exactly how to start a legal home cake business. It includes business templates and guides, email support, red carpet treatment, like I was saying, access to a video tutorial library, and recipes. So click on the large pink button below and enroll in Cake Business School if you want that bonus. So like I said, it's cute and eat time. Thank you for letting me tell you about the e-course. I was so excited about that. Like I said, I feel lighter at the thought to be able to give away this amazing course for people that need it. and it's only for $9. It's like 90% off. It seems ridiculously crazily awesome to me. But I'm a big old nerd. All right, so if you have any questions, type it in the chat box. It could be about Cake Business School, it could be about tonight's training, it can be about food licensing and legal setup, it can be about money stuff. I'm pretty easygoing. All right, so let me know. I'll just flip the screen around. Yay. And this is the page. All right, Holly's got some questions. Awesome. Do you think popping business cards into local letterboxes would result in many orders, or would I be better off creating a flyer? I honestly think you'd be better creating popping vouchers into them. If you had it with a business card and with a flyer, sure, but in all honesty, a voucher by itself has all those details essentially on it. You need to give a form of urgency, so some type of special deal or bonus that they're going to get from you, and a voucher is a great way of doing that. So you can say, you know, taking for orders over X number of dollars, it could be $50, $100, $90, whatever you decide. For orders over this, you get this for free. I recommend doing that instead of discounts, because discounting your work means that people expect discounts in the future. And also, you know, your profit margins are obviously less as well. So if you give a voucher, what used to work really, really well for me and has worked for my franchisees and other people that I talk to and I suggest this to, giving something of free as a bonus, because people are getting used to normal pricing too. And they also, yeah, know your regular price. They're not going to ask for a discount in the future. And it gets orders in. It gives a sense of urgency. How it does that is with the expiry date. Okay, so expiry date on the voucher. So orders over this amount of dollars get a box of 6 cupcakes for free. Why do 6 cupcakes? Because the profit margins and the packaging is relatively cheap. Only cost you probably less than $10 with packaging, depending on ingredients, cost, etc., and where you get your packaging from, and if you got a good deal. So relatively cheap and quick and easy for you to do. They're just buttercream cupcakes. I wouldn't do fondant ones. Yeah, and it's a really great way of getting more orders through the door. So so when you're thinking about doing letterbox drops and you want it to result in orders, think about what type of orders you're wanting. So if it's wedding cakes, a letterbox drop's probably not the best way. Probably, you know, a wedding expo. You know, attending a wedding expo would be a better way. But if it's for birthday cake orders, sure, a letterbox drop. Another brilliant one would be school and daycare newsletters, because that's where your target market are hanging out, being birthdays for kids, being parents read the newsletters. All right, so thinking about what type of orders you want and who your target market is. But vouchers 100%. I can't tell you like what your conversion rate will be or anything like that, but essentially I've got a voucher PDF template for you to use. You can just add your business logo on there if you want and just write in an expiry date, but that's in the attachment on vouchers, okay? And you had another question. Holly's attending first festival, which super pumped about, high five, but I'm not sure what to take to sell as yet. In your opinion, do single items sell better when they say boxed packs of 4 cupcakes? Good question. Okay. Essentially, much like food licensing, every market is different for every cake decorator, because it depends on you, your style, what you specialize in, what you rock at, and who the customers are that are coming through. Okay. And the price points as well. That would be part of the consideration. I can tell you what worked personally for me and for my franchisees, because I knew that quite intimately, those details. But I would ask, you know, in Facebook groups, in Cake Business School Facebook groups, what other people suggest and recommend and worked well for them. So for me, I started out taking big cupcakes and tried to do boxes of 6 cupcakes. I took slices and savory muffins That was about it really. And I tried bar cakes as well. I thought the big individual cupcakes would sell really well, and I do really funky flavor combinations. That's what I thought would sell, but I was wrong. Essentially, the people that will tell you what sells the best will be your customers, and they'll tell you by their money. Yeah, by handing you over money. So what ended up saying, well, I started taking in a box of 4 and a box of 10 mini cupcakes. The box of 4 mini cupcakes were $5. I'd sell them $1.50 each individually, but they never sold individually. It was always in the containers. Box of 4 mini cupcakes for $5, so that makes them $1.25 each, or the box of 10 mini cupcakes for $9, which made them 90 cents each. So I take a couple of each of these containers of mini cupcakes, be the first thing that sold out. I'm like, oh, interesting. Meanwhile, 6 boxes of cupcakes not really sell. So, and let's say the slices didn't sell at all, so I stopped taking them altogether. So next time I took twice the amount of mini cupcakes. First thing to sell out again. Alrighty then, I'll take more mini cupcakes. And the bar cakes, like, nah, I'm not going to do bar cakes anymore. They were the last thing to sell. So I took twice the amount again of mini cupcakes. Still both the $9 and $5 packs, I still love both of them. They both sell out, and they still sell out first. So by the end, let's say, you know, a year into doing the markets, I was taking 20 dozen mini cupcakes and they'd still sell out. I still took normal cupcakes as well, some in winter that always sold better for me, being North Queensland. It was hot, and hold on, I was talking about winter. Okay, winter in North Queensland is the busy season. It's the tourist season. It's the mill crushing season. So more people have work, so therefore more money to spend. So in winter, I would take individual cupcakes and cake pops. Cake pops sold really well. I'd sell over 100 cake pops per market day. I took 6 packs of cupcakes, usually and sold about 6 to 10 6-packs of normal size cupcakes. But then the mini cupcakes, at least 20 dozen. And the other stuff didn't really sell. Slices didn't really sell. Savoury muffins didn't really sell. Yeah, but I didn't know until I tried, tested, tweaked, repeat, and just kept growing and building. Meanwhile, for one of my franchisees in Mackay, so not far away, her 6-packs outsold everything. 6-pack of large cupcakes outsold everything every single time. So she'd take, I think, like 30 boxes of 6 cupcakes, and she'd take the individual ones, but the 6-packs always went. So that's what worked for her. And cake pops, that was her second biggest seller. And then the individual, she didn't really try anything else because they're sold, so why would she? But hopefully that helps you. Let me know if you've got more questions about that. Holly, I'll just check your question again. Sorry, I have really bad eyesight. I'm sure I need new glasses, so I have to get really close to the screen to read it. Okay, so your question was, do single items sell better than boxed ones? I think, yeah, I did answer your question. It depends. Essentially, you're not going to know until you try it. Take a couple of each, see what sells out first, and then try again next time. But sometimes, bear in mind with markets and festivals and expos, etc., sometimes the weather will be exactly the same, the situation exactly the same market, exactly the same customers. Sometimes I'll, you know, sell out, let's say, of the cake pops really early, and the next time not so much. All right, and there's no rhyme or reason. I don't know why. So there'll always be, you know, things that change your data. Essentially, it might be like conflicting information. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. So you still got to try it like 3 times to know, okay, yes, that's definitely what sells the best. All right. All right. Yeah, vouchers it is. Yes, love vouchers. I bang on about vouchers. All right. Does anyone else have any questions? Otherwise, we'll finish today's training. Thank you so much for coming. I really, really, really appreciate it. Like a big old nerd. But I'm a fun nerd. Sounds like it's raining, but it's not. It must be wind. Okay. All right. I don't think anyone has any more questions. Most welcome, Holly. Most welcome. Thank you for joining today. Give me any feedback if you want to email me or pop it in the chat box, how the audio was, how the training was, about myself or Keep Business School, anything really. Pretty easy going. I think that's it. I'm trying to remember if there was anything else I had to remember. Nope. I'll just send an email out with the replay for everyone that missed it and let them know about this YouTube bonus special. A bit excited about that, but I'm excited about everything. What's new? All right. Thanks, guys, for coming. I appreciate it. Bye.